Have you ever looked at the Amazon rainforest and thought it was just an untamed wilderness that humans never really conquered? Well, I'm about to blow your mind. Beneath that dense canopy lies evidence of a sophisticated civilization that's been hidden for centuries, until now. In 2024, archaeologists using cutting-edge technology unveiled a secret that's rewriting history books, a vast network of ancient cities that once thrived in what we thought was impenetrable jungle. I'm talking about urban centers with roads, canals, and thousands of inhabitants that existed over 2,000 years ago. You're watching History Deciphered with Nathan Gale. Now let's get started with one of the most groundbreaking archaeological discoveries of our lifetime. For generations, we've pictured the Amazon as this pristine, untouched wilderness, the last truly wild place on Earth. This narrative has been so dominant that scientists even had a name for it, the pristine myth. We imagined small, scattered tribes living simply in harmony with nature, never really altering their environment in significant ways. But the truth that's emerging is far more fascinating. The Amazon wasn't just inhabited, it was home to complex, organized societies that engineered their landscape on a massive scale. This revelation is forcing us to completely rethink what we thought we knew about pre-Columbian civilizations in South America. And it's all thanks to a technology called LiDAR. LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging, and it's revolutionizing archaeology in ways that Indiana Jones could only dream of. Here's the thing about the Amazon. Traditional archaeological methods just don't work well there. The dense vegetation makes ground surveys almost impossible, and the organic materials these ancient people used don't preserve well in the humid tropical environment. But LiDAR changes everything. It works by mounting a laser scanner on an aircraft that fires rapid pulses of light toward the ground. These pulses penetrate through gaps in the forest canopy, bounce off the ground, and return to the sensor. By measuring the time it takes for each pulse to return, the system creates an incredibly detailed, three-dimensional map of the ground surface, effectively stripping away the vegetation to reveal what's underneath. The 2024 surveys covered over 5,000 square kilometers of previously unmapped rainforest, and what they revealed was staggering. Hundreds of settlement sites, connected by perfectly straight, elevated roadways, extending up to 50 kilometers in length. These weren't just random villages. They were part of an integrated network of urban centers, ceremonial complexes, and agricultural zones that suggest sophisticated regional planning and political organization. Some of the largest settlements covered more than 200 hectares. That's roughly the size of modern downtown districts in many cities. And they weren't just thrown together, they show evidence of careful urban planning with central plazas, surrounded by raised platforms that likely served civic and ceremonial functions, with residential areas extending outward in concentric rings or grid patterns. What's particularly impressive about these ancient Amazonians is their mastery of water management. The LiDAR data revealed extensive canal systems, some stretching over 30 kilometers, connecting settlements to rivers and wetlands. These served multiple purposes: transportation, shore, but also flood control and irrigation. Within settlements, archaeologists identified reservoirs and artificial ponds that would have helped communities manage water resources through seasonal variations in rainfall. This level of hydrological engineering rivals what we see in ancient civilizations around the world. And it's not just about moving water, it's about transforming the landscape to support agriculture on a massive scale. The agricultural systems these ancient Amazonians developed were ingenious adaptations to their environment. The LiDAR data revealed vast areas of raised field systems, essentially elevated planting beds separated by canals, covering thousands of hectares around settlements. These weren't just garden plots, they were industrial-scale farming operations that would have required coordinated labor to construct and maintain. Soil samples from these raised fields contain evidence of diverse crops, including maize, manioc, sweet potatoes, and numerous tree species. This suggests these societies weren't just surviving in the rainforest. They were thriving through sophisticated agroforestry systems that supported dense populations while maintaining ecological resilience. We're talking about a level of environmental engineering that challenges our understanding of how ancient societies interacted with tropical ecosystems. So what made this level of complexity possible in an environment we've long considered hostile to large-scale civilization? Several factors seem to have converged. The Amazon's incredible biodiversity provided diverse resources, while its numerous waterways offered natural transportation networks. Fertile floodplains provided agricultural potential, and soil management techniques developed by these societies enhanced productivity. Climate studies suggest that a relatively stable period between 500 BCE and 500 CE created favorable conditions for population growth and social development. This stability allowed these societies to invest in long-term infrastructure projects and develop specialized social hierarchies. There's also evidence of extensive trade networks that connected Amazonian societies with other cultural centers in South America, potentially accelerating the exchange of ideas, technologies, and resources. The implications of these discoveries are, honestly, pretty profound and force us to radically revise our understanding of pre-Columbian history. Population estimates for the Amazon before European contact need to be dramatically increased. We're talking from previous estimates of 1 to 2 million people to potentially 8 to 10 million or even more. The Amazon now joins the Andes, Mesoamerica, and the Mississippi Valley as a center of independent urban development in the Americas. This really expands our understanding of the diversity of human cultural evolution and, challenges those Eurocentric narratives about the limitations of tropical forest civilizations. But perhaps most significantly, these findings transform our understanding of the Amazon itself, shifting from the idea of a pristine wilderness to that of an anthropogenic landscape shaped by human management for millennia. The binary distinction between natural and human-modified environments kind of breaks down when we recognize that what we thought was virgin forest was actually, in many cases, the overgrown remains of vast cultural landscapes. Not everyone agrees on how to interpret these remarkable findings. Some archaeologists argue we're looking at evidence of state-level societies with centralized political control, pointing to the uniformity of architectural styles and the sheer scale of landscape modification that would have required coordinated labor forces. Others suggest a more decentralized model of regional networks with shared cultural traditions, but political autonomy at the local level. There are also debates about timing, like when did these complex settlements first emerge? Some evidence points to around 200 BCE, while other sites suggest gradual development beginning much earlier, maybe around 1000 BCE. Carbon dating from excavated sites continues to refine the chronology, but the overall picture is clear. These societies existed for centuries or even millennia before European contact dramatically disrupted them. For contemporary indigenous communities of the Amazon, these discoveries aren't shocking revelations. They're validation of oral histories that have long maintained their ancestors built advanced societies. Many indigenous groups see these findings as supporting their land claims and cultural heritage rights. There's been a push for greater indigenous involvement in archaeological research and control over heritage sites identified on their territories. Some indigenous scholars have criticized aspects of the archaeological narrative, arguing that Western concepts of civilization and urbanism may misrepresent the ecological philosophy that guided their ancestors' landscape management. They emphasize that these societies achieved complexity while maintaining sustainable relationships with their environments, rather than pursuing environmental domination. It's a powerful reminder that there are multiple ways of understanding what constitutes advanced civilization. So what happened to these sophisticated societies? Their decline likely began before European contact, with some evidence suggesting climate change may have played a role. But the arrival of European diseases, which traveled faster than the explorers themselves, had devastating effects on populations throughout the Americas. When European explorers finally reached many of these areas, they encountered societies already transformed by disease and population collapse. Without the large populations needed to maintain them, the complex infrastructure systems fell into disuse, and the forest gradually reclaimed the built environment. By the time systematic scientific exploration of the Amazon began in the modern era, most physical traces of these civilizations had been obscured by centuries of forest growth leading to the persistent myth of the Amazon as untouched wilderness. The discovery of these lost cities forces us to reimagine not just Amazonian history, but our relationship with this critical ecosystem going forward. The Amazon isn't just a pristine wilderness that needs to be cordoned off from human influence. It's a landscape that has been shaped by human ingenuity for millennia. The ancient Amazonians developed ways to support large populations while maintaining biodiversity and ecological function, as we face the dual crises of climate change and biodiversity loss. These ancient systems may offer valuable insights into sustainable land management practices. The raised field agriculture systems, for instance, could inspire resilient farming methods for flood-prone regions. The agroforestry approaches might inform modern efforts to develop productive agricultural systems that preserve tree cover and biodiversity. These discoveries remind us that human history is full of surprises, and our understanding is constantly evolving. The lost cities of the Amazon show us that complex civilizations arose independently in environments we once thought couldn't support them. They challenge us to broaden our definition of what constitutes advanced society beyond stone monuments and written records. And they remind us that the relationship between humans and nature is more complex and nuanced than simple narratives of either harmony or domination suggest. As we continue to explore these remarkable sites and analyze the data they provide, we're not just learning about the past, we're gaining new perspectives that might help shape a more sustainable future for one of Earth's most crucial ecosystems. The Amazon rainforest, far from being an untouched wilderness, stands revealed as one of humanity's greatest achievements, a place where people created complex civilizations while maintaining the ecological richness that makes the region so vital to our planet's health.